Hey y'all, what's up? So, did you guys just hear the most recent news that Jazzy just filed for divorce against Jennie Mai? Y'all, I wish I could tell y'all that this is a surprise, but those of y'all who are able to spot red flags know that it is not. So, let's be clear. I actually enjoy Jennie Mai. I like her honesty on the real. I love how she's gone on several different spirituality podcasts and YouTube channels and kind of talked about her relationship with God, and I think that it always comes from a very genuine place. Y'all, I've seen so many red flags in this. Okay, and let's take it back to the beginning, right? So I am not a fan of Jazzy. And I'm not a fan of Jazzy. I've never really have been like, oh my gosh, even for the music. I've never really been that person, just never really hit for me. Now, I'm not saying that he don't have, a catalog or whatever it is. There's somebody for everybody, you know what I mean? But for me, he's not like somebody that I've always been like, oh my gosh, I love, right? So I'm gonna tell y'all a personal experience that people close to me, had with Jazzy, right? So I know some people who put on this huge or paid for a performance from Jazzy. And during this time, he was really not jumping like that. So those of y'all know rappers kind of have like ebbs and flows, and no shade, but this was a flow like that. This wasn't really like a peak time for him. So around this time, they hired him to do a performance, and the person that put it on is a super fan. Like, they really love Jazzy. They like, man, like, it always hit for me, whatever. Y'all, this person, I don't even know if they're a fan now, but it's kind of like when you meet people that you idolize or people that you are a fan of, especially when it comes to entertainers. It was definitely a big letdown for them. So this person personally paid the fee for Jazzy, and I'm gonna go ahead and put the fee out there. So the fee was $100,000 at this time, and mind you, he hadn't put out music in years. This was not a time where he would jump in, whatever. And your fee is your fee. It is what it is. You know what I mean? He had other lists, like every other artists do. When they come in, they're like, hey, I need this set up. I need either these bottles. Well, he didn't really, I don't think he said like bottles, but he definitely said like, face wash, towels, different things that, just kind of make sense. Some things that didn't make sense, but it is what it is. It's kind of like, look, you demand what you want. Okay, cool. So, y'all, he comes in town and he performs, and first, the performance contractually was not, we're gonna say allegedly, was not the full performance time. And then, if I'm not mistaken, I think that there was, and I'm not mistaken, but allegedly, we're gonna say a lot of allegedlys, did not had a clause basically saying like, hey, during this time, when you come in town, I don't give too much information because I don't know if the people are going to be comfortable. But during this time, it's an exclusive performance, which is why you got paid the rate that you did, even though I'm pretty sure it was higher than, other times. I'm not sure, you know what I mean? But for him, $100,000 at this time, you haven't put out music, you haven't been jumping, all that. Okay, cool. So he was paid for an exclusive show, and he wasn't to, perform anywhere else. But we got word, we'll talk about this a little bit later, that he actually did perform somewhere else and broke that contract allegedly. So when this happened, right, mind you, this person paid them out of their own money. It wasn't a build-up of anything. It really was like, look, I'm a fan. I want to see this performance. I want other people to see this performance. I'm going to drop that. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes for the show and everything. He performs, and there's an area, whatever. So the guy, he's a businessman, so he's like, look, I just want to make sure he's good. He want to get bottles and everything, make sure they're set up. Now this is stuff that of course is not required, but it's like, what, we just want to show you, even though you were paid to come, we just want to show you a good time, not even like hang out and kick it. So he, was like, hey, yo, let me send bottles, bring this or whatever. So during the time where that's the case, where he's, the bottle situation, he goes to shake his hand. He was like, hey, I'm so-and-so, thank you so for coming out or whatever. And this is after the performance. And he was like, trying to basically introduce himself and say thank you. And, here's bottles or whatever, and, dip out. So when he goes to do that, Jazzy I can't remember exactly what it is that he said, but he was like, oh, nah, we don't do that. And he was like, oh, no, I just wanted to introduce myself. He was like, nah, we mobbing, we moving. And walks right by him, doesn't even shake his hand, even though knowing that that's the person that paid him to come and perform. And I say this because to me, this set a standard for, not standard, but thing in my mind. And I'm going to continue to say allegedly. So I was like, oh my gosh, like that is incredibly rude. Now I know nobody deserves anything, but you have people bringing you bottles, bringing you more things, and they are the reason why you are there. This is the venue, their venue. This is their stuff. You know what I mean? Allegedly. And you just walk by and talk about some stuff like, nah, we mobbing, we moving, or something like that. And I was like, what in the ghetto ratchet shit is this? And don't get me wrong, I understand, that's the trap music. I understand the culture and everything. But I also feel like as a business person, that was crazy. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't like this person since, you know what I'm saying? So I don't care for him at all. And side note, right? So the person that, he doesn't want to shake his hand or even speak to, before then he, was kind of, getting things together or whatever. And he has said to us that he was like, man, like, that's kind of, he was kind of, some red flags even to, them, right? Now, I'm going to say this because I promise y'all, I'm not trying to be funny when I say this, but these people are getting money. Like, not too many people can come out their pocket and spend 100 bands just to have your favorite performer come and whatever. Now, this person says they like, yo, like, I think that man had fake J's on. And I started laughing. And I started laughing because I think you're being funny, you know what I'm saying? Like, nah, whatever. Now you gotta keep in mind that these are getting money people, and not just this person, but everybody around them, right? And a sneaker fanatic, you know what I'm saying? Like, they know clothing, they know brands, they know all of that. So, and I'm gonna say allegedly, but they was like, I think that fool had fake J's on. Like, I'm confused. What? And the red flag in that situation was the people with him. So when he was like, when Jazzy was like, oh, nah, we mobbing, we moving, you know what I'm saying, going out. So they walking out, and that's cool. It is what it is. Like, what's what? The shorties that were like the entourage or that was with him, like right there. And I'm not saying like just groupies that like came up or whatever, but that came with him had club dresses on and Jordans. I said, now wait a minute. Now, some of y'all gonna be like, oh, it don't matter. It don't matter. It matters. Because who is wearing a full on, right? And then even at this time, you're not making a statement, sis. You got a full on glam club dress and you got J's on? What they do that at? I was confused. I was perplexed. So I was like, I'm not really sure what's what, but I don't like that because I know these people and I know how much we how much was done to get everything together, right? And I'm gonna go ahead and say allegedly again, but like, y'all, I didn't like that person from this moment, right? I didn't like Jazzy from this moment. And this is not a personal attack, but it take it how you want. And then so when and actually crazy thing is because I actually felt like, yo, this is wild, because the arrange, like the time frame, literally a few months from then, like, or maybe a year or two came. Not even a year. I promise it was like a couple months. There was a video of Jazzy out where he ain't had no teeth in his mouth. It was like his veneers or whatever had either fell out, or he needed something done with him or whatever, but was looking crazy out here, like down bad. And I started thinking, I was like, yo, fool, could have had fake J's on, because the man looked bad, man. He looked bad. He ain't had no haircut. I mean, his teeth was not knocked out, because I'm not gonna say that, but he didn't have no teeth in his mouth. I was just like, yo, what's going on? It was crazy. But I also felt like when you mistreat people, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that, oh, that's that, but it was like crazy that happened right after that. And I remember sending it over, like there was like a news article. I don't know if it was TMZ or whatever that like reported on it. And I remember sending it over to the folks, and I was like, y'all, this is crazy. And what's the name was like, yeah, and it's crazy because you do bad business, and now, you know what I'm saying, that's the situation. So after that, it goes on, you know what I'm saying, everybody done like, you know what I'm saying, like, it's back to regular life, it's cool. And then I start to see like Jazzy on this tour of like rebranding himself, and I call it the scammer starter pack, where dudes from the hood will all of a sudden start putting on suits and ties and dress shirts and everything, and all of a sudden they a changed man, and they really not changed. They just put that on, right? And they want to look like a businessman. They want to come out, they want to sell courses, they want to tell you how to do some stuff that's illegal, you know what I'm saying, legal, but they want to make it seem like it's real, you know what I'm saying? Or whether it's like, oh, I'm gonna show you how to do this, I'm gonna show you how to get these loans or whatever, and I call it the scammer starter pack, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of that, and if you watch, and there's a YouTube channel, Pocket Watcher, I think it might be, I'm not sure, but really be breaking it down for a lot of these hood dudes that all of a sudden put on suits and they get to looking nice and they put on a watch and they take photos, and all of a sudden they trying to teach you something, and what they're teaching you is something that really could put you in a messed up position, because it's illegal for one, it's fraud, right, and all of that. So it just gave me those vibes. So I said, okay, maybe the man did turn, you know what I'm saying, turn a new leaf. He cool. I don't know the man personally. It is what it is. All right, whatever. Cool. So I see him going on this tour. He's doing all this stuff. He's kind of like back in the swing of things as far as entertainment wise, on televisions, whatever. So he goes on to the reel. I enjoy the reel. You know what I'm saying? I did when it was active, right? So I see that, he starts dating Jennie, and I was like, oh, Jennie, I really hope that this is literally a fun time for you when now that you're out of your marriage and you're gonna go on to do something else. And to my disappointment, it was a whole lot more than that. And I say that not out of, maybe it is judgment, we all kind of judge a little bit, but I just want better for her. And it's not, a color thing, it's not even a class thing, it's a like morals thing, because she really seems to be a person that really stands on what it is she says, when she says like being honest, being a hard worker, being, even just a woman of God, being a faith-filled person, and just her, like, I'm telling y'all, I've watched several things of her, so like what it is that she stands for, and what I know, not even know, but I perceive this other person to be, I was just like, how'd it work? So I don't know, but I was like, maybe he really turned it around. And then here goes my other side, right? My other side is like, this black man from Atlanta, from the hood of Atlanta, right, is all of a sudden rebranding himself. He putting on suits and everything, coming back on TV shows, and then he shows up with this Asian girl. Now, I like that Asian girl, cool, but we're not gonna ignore the fact that every time a dude trying to want to clean up his image or try to rise to a new occasion, he pop out with something other than what he know. Because from my understanding, his baby mamas, and I won't say baby mamas, his ex-wives or wife or baby mama, they're beautiful black women from Atlanta. Or they're not from Atlanta, but they're just beautiful black women. Cool. All right. But my thing is this, like, why when you try to clean up your image, why is that, the standard? And I'm not hating, because love is love. I have dated interracially, and it's more than fine. You know what I'm saying? That's not the thing, but I just seen that, and it kind of threw up red flags. And it also made me feel like, at the time, and people may feel how they feel because they feel like, oh, Jazzy might be a household name, whatever. In my opinion, no, not to me. I think he's had his time. And then there's been other times or whatever, but at the same time, I feel like Jennie was jumping at that time, and I feel like she was on daytime television, she was on different podcasts, she had just started a YouTube channel. People were really, I think, really gravitating and really loving her, because even on the real, even when you would look at the comments, it would be like they felt like she was one of the only people. And shout out to Lonnie, because I don't ever want to diss or anything like that, but the perception that I've heard and seen, that a lot of times Jennie would say the things that were tough, the things the truth that people didn't want to say because they wanted opportunities still, or the truths that weren't easy coming from another person of color, right? So look, everybody gotta say themselves instead of being super real on daytime television. But I felt like Jennie really was one of those people that pushed the lines of that, and so I felt like people were really gravitating to her, and I think people still really enjoy her. So I haven't seen a lot of her since then, and it could be because she got pregnant on the real and gave birth, and then after the real ended, I know she's doing other things. I'm not 100% sure what those things are, but Jennie seems to be a business savvy woman, so of course she's gonna be good. But that made me feel like opportunist. And I know people will say like, oh, well, he already had his thing going on. Nah. Like, I feel truly like he saw opportunity. You know what I'm saying? All of a sudden you're writing a book. You're trying to put this book out. You need to look a certain way. And I think that the audience that Jazzy has and the audience that Jennie Mai has are two totally different ones. And I think that from the outside looking in, he probably was like, oh, this is going to put me into different rooms. Not even just different rooms, but put me in front of different people, different customers, different fans, viewers that are going to be able to support me in a whole new way, and then see you as his family man. I mean, the wedding was beautiful. I mean, like whirlwind type of love. And so looking at the pictures, I was just like, oh my gosh, like they really are taking it serious. And then when she got pregnant, I was like, oh, they real serious. Okay. Because y'all know that in Jennie's first marriage, she said that she did not want to have any children. And she said that the love that Jazzy, showed her made her want to have, or even be okay with having a child. And I'm not gonna lie, it sounds like love bombing to me. It sounds like he was all about her, said all the right things. And I think that when women then get pregnant, and they've only been married 2 years, their baby's already here, and the baby might be, it has to be at least a year, like at least, or at least a year, maybe a year and a half. I'm not sure, at least maybe a year and a half. And it just gives me
Audio Jungle,
like love bombing, and then you're in a vulnerable place, and then you like want to be loved, and you want to believe in that. And to be honest, it said that he filed for divorce. I was just looking, and something came on my timeline about Jennie's and the baby, gorgeous baby.
Audio Jungle.
And she was like, oh, celebrate, daddy hitting like the New York Times bestseller list or something like that. And then the next day I see this headline that he filed for divorce. First of all, he filed for divorce? The audacity, right? Like, I always be feeling like, unless that woman done did something out of this world, I'm talking crazy to you, the man to file for divorce, normally it is the woman. So that was a shock to me. And then even to see that she was still supporting him. And I'm not, look, y'all, I'm somebody, I know you can continue to have relationships, be positive with people. She was still supporting him and on some I love you stuff the day before, posting stuff about the, you know, with the baby. And I almost feel like, was she blindsided? Like, did he file and she not know and think that they were good? Or did they have a tough conversation and he was just like, yo, I'm out type situation? And she still then again was like, dang, like, this, you done? You know what I'm saying? I thought we'd be able to get past this or something. So y'all, prayers up for Jennie, because she decided to allow herself to be open to love and have this beautiful baby. And I know that there's no regrets, especially when it comes to children, but that whole situation was a red flag to me. And it's not Jennie, but also it just screams red flags. Like, literally, you gave your marriage 2 years. It's not like they were together 7, 5. I don't know if they were together 5 years before then, maybe 1, maybe 2, maybe. But I feel like after they really started dating and getting cool, then marriage, then boom, like everything was very swift, very quick. I think they got married. Did they get married in 2021? Or like, right, like during the COVID time? Yeah, because things were still kind of locked down. I remember that. Y'all, it's crazy. He's a big red flag. And I feel like he kind of used her for everything that she was he felt like she was worth. And then when things get too tough, you out. That's what I think. And allegedly, you know, so I am disappointed a little bit, but I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised, not because of her. I'm not surprised because of him and who I perceive him to be, right? So, yikes, that really just does not sound good. It don't feel good. I wish the best for her, but even I feel like right after, I feel like when Jennie got divorced, she was still mourning her divorce, and they got together so quickly. And I think that when her and right, they, you know, it wasn't like, oh, like right after the divorce, or I don't know if it was right after, maybe it's been a year, maybe. But you know, her ex-husband had already had a baby with that other girl, and that was shady, by the way, right? Like, he had a baby with somebody that not only she knew, that was like a common friend or something like that. And whew, like before they were even fully divorced, that girl was pregnant, and all the mess that came. And I definitely feel like she dodged a bullet, but in probably the pain and unexpectancy of what all that brought, I think that he really probably should have been a rebound instead of trying to build your forever with that person. But I pray for her. I really hope that she, you know, is happy. I hope that, you know, that I know she'll land on her feet. Like, Jennie strikes me as the person that is your strong friend, but also aware friend. She strikes me as like, she's aware of where she is, seems very emotionally intelligent and emotionally mature. So I know that she's going to be a great mother and provide for that little one. And that little girl looks just like her daddy, and it's crazy how much these kids, you will carry your child all that time just for them to look like the person that didn't carry him, right? Okay, because you've been duped. It's crazy. Listen, you ain't the only one, girl. So I wish you the best. And y'all, that's crazy. So let me know what y'all think in the comments. Let me know, was this a surprise for y'all? Let me know if y'all have the same interpretation. And yeah, that's it, y'all. All right, we out.